welcome aboard.
Introducing Axios local Texas editor, Astrid Galvan.
Hello. Hi, welcome. Welcome to our 4th annual Visionarios event here in Los Angeles, California. Yes. I am Astrid Galvan. I'm a Axios local Texas editor. If we have any Texans in the house, don't forget to sign up for our local newsletters in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin. We're so thrilled to gather here with you today as we kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. We're here to lift up the stories, ideas, and impact of Latinos across communities, business, arts, and public service. So tonight you're going to hear a series of fast, smart conversations from leaders who embody precisely what Visionarios means. After the program, please don't forget to stick around and have a few drinks on us. And I look forward to connecting with you all after this. But to start us off, we're having a conversation on community well-being, access, and resilience. Please welcome LA Galaxy Forward, Christian Ramirez, and Dr. Ariana Howitt. Welcome.
You want to sit here?
Go ahead. This is very exciting. Okay, so you're both on stage together here because of your connection through the Kids Mental Health Foundation, on which you serve Dr. Howitt as the Executive Clinical Director and which you've partnered with, Christian. So I wanted to start with you, Christian. I'm curious, how did you get involved in this organization and why this specific cause?
I started to deal with some mental health stuff myself, and then being a young father to 3 kids, I wanted to gain the knowledge and the tools to help guide them when these situations arise, and I've started to see that, and I also saw how big of an audience we could reach with it. So it was something that gradually happened. Got an opportunity to work together in Columbus on a project, and it just opened the doors for me.
That's great. Did you grow up having open conversations about mental health in your family?
Not really, because I saw my parents both migrated here from Colombia, and my dad worked his butt off through the night to let me and my siblings play sports. So I felt it was an obligation to just be a strong individual, and didn't really know how to deal with certain things. And at some point in my life, I started dealing with them. And yeah, I'm thankful that I was able to gain those tools and hopefully continue to pass them down.
And you mentioned your kids, you have 3 small children. How do you approach it now with them? What is sort of your approach to the whole concept?
Just to try and figure out ways to let them balance what their emotions are controlling them inside a little bit. Try to let them understand their feelings, and it's all right to feel certain ways, and then helping them. We just had a situation this weekend with my daughter, started crying in the middle of a game, and I didn't approach her after the game. I let her come to me, and it took a day, but she finally said, "Hey, Dad, I was crying because I was mad that we were losing." And I was like, "Well, okay." And so I just tried to dissect those feelings and try and help her, guide her a little bit in where she could go to, how she can get out of that little funk. And I mean, it took her a day. Sometimes she's said something right away, And yeah, so just letting her slowly come to me instead of immediately bombarding her with questions and being upset that she got off the field or something like that. Just understanding that she's 7 years old, and the quicker and she understands how to deal with these things, the better she will be in the long term, but also not trying to rush her.
Yeah, that's great. And it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a 7-year-old daughter as well, so very much relate. Dr. Hoyt, you are an immigrant from Venezuela, and you've spoken before about the second time that you moved to the United States when you were a teenager and you suffered from depression. Can you talk about the tools that your parents gave you and sort of what got you through that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I can talk about it now as a psychologist. I can look back and think, oh, this is what they did that worked. But my parents, they were just winging it. They didn't know what they were doing, right, as most parents are. At the time, it was really hard. I had lived in the US when I was in elementary school. We went back to Venezuela. I came back in high school. And so I already spoke English. I wasn't placed in the class with the other immigrant kids. So to them, I was too gringa. I didn't belong with them. But to the kids in the US, I was an immigrant. I didn't belong with them either. And so that marginalization immediately caused that depression. And again, I can use those terms now because as a psychologist, I'm like, oh, that's what happened. What my parents did is they sat me down and they're like, hey, you either go to therapy or you have to join an after-school activity. And I was like, no, not therapy. Absolutely not. And so I joined theater. And that is the moment that, one, it got me out of my basement, out of my computer where I was constantly connected to my friends back in Venezuela. But two, it helped me build belonging with the school, with new friends, new people. And again, that is what science shows us is the most protective factor for kids and their mental health, is feeling connected. The moment that I felt like I was a part of the school environment, the moment I felt like I had a group of friends, that helped me get through. But also a huge piece was our Latino values. The family connectedness, my parents constantly being there, checking in, giving me the space, but just normalizing that it's okay, we're here for you. And even my family back in Venezuela knew what was going on and checked in, would visit if they could or call if they could. And so it was those values that we know are so important that helped me get through that.
What do you think your experience would be like if you had to move here now at that same age?
That's an interesting question because back then, there was no WhatsApp, there was no technology. I mean, if I wanted to call family, I had to do the phone cards, like you scratch and then you call and it's like, you have 5 minutes. It's like, ah! Oh, really? That's amazing. Yeah, so I think in so many ways we are more connected to back home. In so many ways, there is more awareness in the benefit of belonging and community, but then also right now, being an immigrant is tough. And so I don't know how to answer that. I'm not sure what the environment is. I know working with immigrant kids in therapy, there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of stress, especially for the mixed documentation families. Obviously, my family had a different experience and more privilege, but it is hard right now for a lot of the immigrant kids I work with.
Yeah. Well, you kind of answered my next question, but I do want to hear a little bit more about, as a pediatric psychologist, what you're seeing among immigrant children or kids who have immigrant families, and how it compares to, the year before or 2 years ago.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear. Honestly, a lot of kids have stopped coming to treatment. It's kids need to feel accepted. And so when a whole community is being targeted and made to feel less than, that's going to affect their mental health. And also there's so many other things, you know, in therapy, there's often the kids, like I mentioned, that feel like I don't belong here or there. There's a lot of what we call the acculturation gap, where the parents are having a harder time acculturating to the US, and then the kids immediately pick up the language, the culture, and so then there's a lot of arguments. It's something I experience myself. And so I would say in therapy, that's what I see the most, is helping the parent and the child have a healthy relationship, because there is so much disagreement in how they want to live their lives.
That's really interesting. So knowing what we know about the sort of unfortunate existing stigma that exists in a lot of Latino families regarding mental health, you know, I still hear from relatives like therapies for, I won't even say it, but what are important ways that we can shift those attitudes? And I'd love to hear from both of you on that.
For me, it's the Latino values that we have within our family. It's being there for each other, loving each other, and celebrating each other. And I think if we piggyback off of those things, it starts to be accepting, to seek help, and to be there when we're needed.
Yeah, one of the things we do at the Kids Mental Health Foundation is we really want people to understand that mental health is just like physical health. Every child has emotions, every child has thoughts and feelings. In our communities, we tend to think like, oh, that's a vecino, right? That's the neighbor's problem. That doesn't happen in my family, my kid. No, we all have mental health, and so we want to think about it. We're teaching our kids to eat their veggies, move their bodies, get enough sleep for their physical health. There are things we can be teaching them every day for their mental health. And so that's how we're approaching breaking stigmas. It's normalizing it. It's that, no, we all have it. We all need to be teaching kids how to take care of their mental health in the same way. And that's why I love partnerships like we do with Christian, because kids don't want to hear from the psychologist. They want to hear from their hero, right? When he's normalizing mental health. It's like, yeah, I mean, we met a few kids today. We talked to a kid who's a senior in high school, and he's like, I've had parents tell me to do this specific tool, but then I saw this person I follow on TikTok, and I did it because I heard it from them. And he had insight. He's like, yeah, I only did it because I saw it there, even though my parent may have told me for weeks to try it. So,
can't wait for those teenage years. Dr. Hoyt, how is the era of AI affecting mental health? Is it providing more tools? Is it causing more concern? How do you see the role of AI in this?
Yeah, I mean, the internet as a whole, it's great if used well. It can connect us, it can give us more information. However, our kids' brains are not developed enough to figure out what is misinformation versus real information. They're not developed enough to set boundaries. They can't, I mean, adults can't get ourselves off of our phones, let alone a child. And so AI is just a new thing that we still don't have enough research on when it comes to how is it impacting kids' mental health. But we know enough to know that if a child is going to AI to get mental health advice, it's not a mental health professional, right? And we've already seen enough cases where a child may end up in harm because of what AI is feeding them. So parents have to monitor. If you're giving access to technology, don't just hand it over and walk away. Your child's brain is not ready for it. So monitor, set boundaries, teach them healthy ways to use it.
Yeah. And besides that, what are other tools that parents can have? Because I mean, I think I'm a parent, and it's so hard. Sometimes you're just like, I just need to do the dishes. Like, here's a tablet. Like, leave me alone. I love my kids. I really do. But any other tools or advice that you have for our audience?
Technology?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that it is helpful. It is. When my child is sick, I'm turning on a movie. When I have something to do, I'm turning the TV on the screen. So it's not about no. It's about teaching them how to use it in a healthy way. It's the same way when your child is ready to drive, you're not just going to hand them keys, right? You're going to make sure that they learn what are the safe ways to be behind the wheel. It's the same thing with technology. It's literacy of what are the harms, what are the things I can and can't post. We have a family social media plan on our website that has you kind of sit down with your child and say, what are the apps you can use? When can you be on your phone and not? What are the things you can post? Who can you follow? And so it's just being really purposeful with those tools.
Well, we are out of time, unfortunately, but before we go, I do want to have you teach us just one calming exercise that you've taught your kids or that you teach your kids. If you can quickly teach us, because I think there's a lot of parents in this room who probably use it.
So I'm sure everyone's kind of tired of hearing like deep breaths, right? Every time you're stressed, take a deep breath. But hey, they work. We were taking some backstage before coming on. But kids are also tired of hearing it. So in therapy, one of my favorite ways to teach kids how to take deep breaths is pizza breathing. You pretend you have a pizza in your hand, you really want to eat it, and it smells so good, so we take a deep breath in, and we smell the pizza, but it's really hot, we can't eat it yet, so we blow on it. So we teach it all the time.
So good.
It's trickery.
So
I'm telling you. But here's the thing.
Fantastic. Christian, Dr. Howitt, thank you so much for this conversation and for the work you do every day to build awareness around mental health.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
And next, our View from the Top moderator, Fabricio Drummond.
Good evening. Well, it's an honor to be back with the Visionarios community. A huge thank you to Bank of America for their continued support on this incredible event since the very first one in 2022. This next conversation, it's going to be about building a core foundation around teams, businesses, and impact. I'd like to welcome Ray Vasquez, West Coast Regional Credit Executive with Bank of America. Ray. Ray, welcome to Visionarios.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here with you all.
Well, let's kick things off, starting with you. So tell us about you and your role at Bank of America.
Well, great. So I'm a Senior Vice President of Bank of America Business Banking. I lead the West Coast credit team. We work with small, medium-sized companies and lead a team of specialized credit folks who help structure. We advise on debt capacity. And really, our job is to grow the companies that we work with. So fortunate to be with Bank of America. This is actually 26 years, blink of an eye, right? I was the young guy before, here I am, 26 years later. And then 31 years total in banking. So it's been a great career, great journey. And then switching to the personal side, wife and two beautiful daughters. We live in Altadena, so put a pin on that. We'll come back to that. And then I always say about my career at Bank of America, it's fortunate a company that supports me, what I call my passion-career, my passion to the community and the career we have here. And then lastly, personally, I'm a Dodgers fan. If you haven't noticed this and this, go Dodgers, go Dodgers.
Any Phillies in the room? No. Excellent. Well, Ray, we've had Raul on the stage before and in prior years where he talked to us about the Hispanic Business Councils. Can you share with us more about what those are and why they're so core and central to Bank of America's business strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. On a national level, we look at the Bank of America enterprise across the country. We're proud and pleased to say that we bank over 12 million Hispanic Latino clients throughout the country, of which over 1 million of those are business owners. And so as we think of that demographic and the opportunity to grow with it and invest in it, we're a big contributor, supporter of a lot of the organizations that are there, and we'll come back to that. In terms of the Hispanic Latino Business Councils, we have those in our metro areas, and I'm fortunate to be one of the co-chairs here in Los Angeles with Raul Bustillos. And so we lead a team of bankers, of about 20, 25 bankers in these metro areas where we represent every line of business from consumer, home lending, Merrill, business banking, private bank, every division. So we bring the resources to bear to the community so that we can continue to grow the market share. And so, albeit we're a leading market share, we never want to lose that edge, right? Because we know there's always new opportunities ahead of us.
And then bringing, this strategy to the local level in the greater Los Angeles area, in what ways are you supporting and helping Hispanic and Latino business clients?
Absolutely. So for those of you who were maybe at Velocity last week, maybe a show of hands if you were at Velocity last week. So Velocity is a large conference that we were representing sponsor. It's about 1,000 business individuals, a lot of business owners who come and collaborate and talk about the things that we can do better as a community, Los Angeles and the state and across the country. And so it's led by an organization called Latino Donor Collaborative. So we were a presenting sponsor in support of that organization and that event, Velocity. And so we mobilized through our Diversity Council invites of well over 100 invitees. Many of those were our clients and prospects that we introduced to each other, introduced to other business people, and really come together on collaboration as far as how we can do more business together. So that's one great example. And maybe I can touch on some of the data from that event.
Yeah, please, yeah.
And so Velocity, it touched on a report that they've been doing for a few years now. It's called the U.S. Latino GDP, meaning that if you took all the Latinos living in this country, which represent about 18.5% of the U.S. population, that U.S. Latino GDP is now hit $4 trillion. To give that context, if it was a separate country, it'd be the 5th largest economy in the world, right? So think about that, 4th largest economy in the world. And then if you look at here in California, we are 1 trillion of that 4 trillion U.S. Latino GDP. And so that's an example of information that conference, that organization, we come to bear to share with all of you so that we can continue to grow that economic pie, if you will, of it's expanding. It's not finite, it's growing. That's because of all your efforts here.
Well, let's now shift from supporting these business clients to supporting the community. What are some of the key partnerships that Bank of America has in place in greater Los Angeles area that benefits the community throughout Southern California?
Yeah, in addition to Velocity and LDC, we've worked closely with the local chambers, whether it's the Greater Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce. Maria Salinas was actually my guest at Velocity, for those who know Maria. The LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, Daryl Ceseda, chairman, was my guest also at Velocity. And so we work with them locally on events. We work on opportunities that we can bring together, introductions. And many times it's the advocacy they're doing, right? Whether it's state level, federal level, and also the opportunities of our clients and trade groups to say, how can we pull resources together to make these opportunities real? And so it's, as they say, it's who you know and how you can leverage that for those doors to be open. And so we do leverage those chambers. There's many organizations, I'll run out of time to touch on them, but those are recent examples I can share with you as far as at Velocity, we brought them all together. And so last on that point, we're trying to bring down the silos instead of all these circles and Venn diagrams, just bring it all together. You go faster and further if you bring people together as opposed to keep them separate. So think about that as you network and bring organizations together.
Ray, Bank of America has been actively involved in the rebuilding efforts in Los Angeles after the unfortunate wildfires earlier this year. Can you share all the things that you all are doing?
Yeah, definitely. So personal, family, we are thankfully, our house was not burnt. We did suffer smoke and wind damage. But think of the impact of what happened there, the magnitude. And so we're fortunate to have Raul Naya, who couldn't join us tonight, but he is leading. First off, he's the co-head president of business banking here at Bank of America. He's also the Greater Los Angeles market president. And so Raul has been also now tapped on the shoulder by CEO Brian Moynihan to lead the LA fire recovery efforts. So whether it's federal, state, or local, and then our charitable foundation and our volunteer network, Raul's activating that and including helping with innovative products to help those clients rebuild. And so, giving you a quick stats, there was over 50,000 acres burnt between the Eaton Canyon and Palisades, right? 50,000. You had 13,000 homes destroyed. You had over almost 2,000 small businesses that were impacted as well in terms of their buildings. And so it's going to take a magnitude of everyone coming together. Thankfully, the bank, through Raul's efforts, has now already pledged thus far $3.5 million to help rebuild with not-for-profit organizations. Think of American Red Cross, think of the Greater LA Chamber of Commerce, amongst many other organizations, the LA Food Regional Bank. There's so many out there that we're working with, and there's more to come, because this is a multi-year rebuild project, right? It's not going to be quick and easy.
And then Ray, for those that actually had their homes impacted, like in what ways they can count on Bank of America for support?
Well, think of it this way, of the 13,000 homes that were destroyed, half of those have a relationship with Bank of America. And so we talk about the impact we've had here in Los Angeles as a company for 110 years, right? We're deeply, deeply rooted, vested. We live here, we work here, we see it all like you do. We're stakeholders. And so we formed under Raul's leadership specialty teams that can assist clients directly one-on-one support, whether it's with their existing mortgage, whether it's with help with maybe their insurance company, identifying contractors, all the resources that a homeowner would look to think about how can I have support from my bank. And so we have mobilized those teams. We've also developed an innovative construction lending program for those who've lost their homes. It's not something that is widely available. And so we have more information at bankofamerica.com/LA Rebuild. And I'm available afterwards if you want to talk more. We can connect you to someone here at the bank.
Ray, we're about to get the hook here. We do like to end on a fun note here at Axios. I see some gear here. What are some of the fun things you can share with us about the Dodgers and the partnership that you have with them?
Yeah, so first off, I became a Dodger fan through Fernando Mania, for those out there in the crowd, Fernando Mania. A little kid, and I so inspired as a 5-year-old that I played baseball for 11, 12 years, right? So it was fun. But at Bank of America, we are the official bank sponsor of the LA Dodgers since 2005. So there you go. Put your money where your heart is and activate. And what that means is that we work closely with LA Dodgers and their charitable foundation. We have helped them rebuild or renovate 68 Little League baseball fields in greater LA County over the last decade. We have volunteered 5,000 hours together with the LA Dodger Charitable Foundation and our Bank of America employees, 5,000 hours per year. And we also host over 6,000 clients at Dodger Stadium for baseball games, special events, VIP events. We have access to different opportunities that the general public doesn't. So those are ways that we've activated. Plus, who doesn't think nostalgically about the sights, the smells, the feel of the Dodger Stadium? So that's why we brand two iconic brands, the Dodgers, Bank of America, to come together for the benefit of all of you.
Well, Ray, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you for sharing your insights in your playbook. We have more great content coming. Sit tight, and thank you very much.
Let's give a warm welcome to the stage, Noticias Telemundo anchor, Julio Vaquero.
Hi. Hello everybody. Buenas noches. How's everybody doing? Good? I'm very happy to be back on the Visionarios stage, back on the West Coast. Muchas gracias. So I'm excited for our next conversation because our next guest is a woman that turns her lived experiences as a Latina, as a bilingual speaker, as a woman in comedy into very purposeful comedy. So please help me welcome Aida Rodriguez. Aida. Welcome, Aida.
Thank you.
How are you?
I woke up this morning. That's where my bar is. I'm just here.
That's good. So I think most of us know you first and foremost for your stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But I know you wear many other hats. You're also an actor, a producer, a writer, a podcaster.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything else?
I'm a director.
Okay.
And most importantly, I'm I don't know if it's activist. I'm an actionist. It's not about words, but
Nice.
yeah.
For how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
Wow. What inspired you? I mean, I just imagine that being a stand-up comedian every night, going in front of strangers and trying to make them laugh must be pretty intimidating.
You just talked me out of it.
No, I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
What am I doing? You know, I grew up with funny women. I really, there's this misnomer in comedy that women are not funny. And every single one of our grandmothers is probably the most hilarious person that we've ever encountered. I wanted to tell my story, and I always felt that comedy was a good way to deliver messaging that you can't do sometimes straight on. Sometimes through laughter, you penetrate things that you can't do with regular. And comedy's been very effective for me to get some messages out there.
And you also have a podcast. It's called Say What You Mean. Mm-hmm. And you and your guests discuss moments when people wish they had spoken up, correct? How did you come up with that concept?
You know what's funny is that as a Latina growing up, listening throughout the people in my life saying, yo no tengo pelo en la lengua.
Yeah.
We've all heard, yes, you do. Yes, you do. We're always talking about how we just say it like it is. We don't. All of us have moments in our lives where we wish we would have said something and we didn't. And I just like to offer people that freedom, because those moments for me have been, you know, I've had these fights in my head of like, I wish I would have said this and I wish I would have said that. And I know everybody has that feeling.
We're all being there, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you think of a moment where you wish you would have spoken up?
Sure. I mean, it's ongoing. Now that we've started doing the show, the floodgates are open. And so, you know, even moments, I remember for a magazine, they were doing a story on me, and the woman who was working at the company was a white woman. And I say this because it's important, it's context. She sent me an email and she goes, Ida, I know you're Puerto Rican. I hope you don't get offended by this question, but have you ever been to jail? And I was like, I am offended by this question. I said, no, I've never been to jail. And I was like, have you? You the white lady. You know, I was like, it was just so weird. But I didn't, you know, that was all in my head. I didn't say anything. I just said no. And I wish I would have responded and spoken up, because I think it's important for us to do that.
I feel like truth-telling is very important throughout your whole comedy.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to just bring the truth to light?
Okay, so now I'm going to lose more jobs. It took the Latinas. Ana Navarro has powered her way into that scene and said, no, sir. So when you see comedy, when it comes to us, they like us to be payasos. They like for us to perform things that make them feel comfortable about how they feel about us. And my hero in comedy is George Carlin. And so I was like, I want to be able to do that. I want to speak up. I want to speak out. I want to tell jokes that land. And I want to be a mirror to community and society. And so.
Now, is it what you've expected? Because you've said that it is hard these times to make people laugh collectively.
Yes.
What do you think that is?
Well, I think that the greatest threat to what's happening in our country and to our people is that it's a lack of education. FDR said the greatest threat to democracy was a lack of education. I'm paraphrasing, but it's a quote that resonates with me. We are having these culture wars. People are not being informed. You are an actual journalist. You are out there battling with people that have followers, giving people misinformation. Mm-hmm. And I think in order to fight for our humanity as Latinos, some people keep saying they want us to leave, but if we left, America would crumble. It couldn't survive without us.
Totally.
We will gladly go back home. Have you ever seen Mexico or Puerto Rico? It's beautiful. We're not here by choice. But if we leave, you gotta leave too. You gotta leave Mexico, you gotta leave Cabo, you gotta leave San Juan, and let us go back to our paradise, because we come from paradise. The only reason we're here is because our families had to do what they had to do. So I think that, it's important now more than ever. I look for solidarity with our people, because I think that a lot of people are always trying to find division with us. but we are so powerful, and they know that if we do find solidarity, that is over.
Yes. So recently, comedians have been making headlines.
Of course.
And you've spoken a lot about how comedy is important especially in these times.
Yeah.
But what do you think is the role of a comedian in a free society?
I mean, back in the day, comedians were the healers, right? They were the people that used comedy to heal, because comedy is a tool for healing. We are supposed to be using our freedom of speech to speak truth to power. There's a spectrum of comedy. There are some people who want to make jokes about hamburgers, and then there are some people who want to make jokes about politics, and there's room for us all. Humor is different for everybody. Some people like slapstick humor, and some people like their humor with politics and social, tones. And I think it's important that we have all of it, because as they attack our freedom of speech, if you look throughout history, a lot of the people who were standing on the front lines were actual comedians.
Yeah. So you also talk a lot about Latinidad in your comedy.
Sí.
If you had to explain what being a Latino is today in the United States, how would you describe it?
You know what? The most interesting and beautiful and yet difficult part about Latinidad is that Latinos are the only group that contain every racial group that exists. And I don't think people understand that about us, right? There's white, black, Asian, mulatto, all the words. We got all the words in all the countries. Indigeno, sí. I have the eyelash right here. I'm very familiar with my indigenous roots. My grandfather was Arawak. I think that people don't understand that those things are weaponized against us. And we are dealing in real time with hundreds of years of oppression, misinformation, and it takes time to be able to find the unity that we're looking for. And it starts with a reckoning. It starts with saying we do struggle with anti-blackness. We do struggle with anti-indigenous sentiment. We do say inappropriate things, and we need to learn how to educate our people and our families. So I think that understanding that about us is the beginning of us actually being able to find our heaven, because we keep ignoring that, and I think that's what makes us magic, but we have to understand it.
Totally. We're running out of time, but I have to ask you this. It's a kind of news of the day kind of question.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on all the outrage that Bad Bunny's upcoming performance?
You have 4 months. You know what? I think that's a very interesting that Bad Bunny, who is American.
Yes,
American.
by the way.
Puerto Rico is the last colony. That there is an outrage because there is an active push against us. And the active push against us is not just in music, it is in science, it is in entertainment, it is in law, and it is because people are afraid of us. And they know that when Bad Bunny hits that field for the Super Bowl halftime show, he's gonna unite us the way he's been uniting us, the way he spoke out against ICE, the way he was informing people about where ICE was. I think that the outrage is the anti-Latino sentiment, but I just keep warning people, keep messing around with us and you're gonna get exactly what you're looking for, because if we all say nos vamos, se acabó.
Nos vamos. Thank you very much.
Thank you, this is great. Thank you all.
Nice time.
Thank you.
Introducing Axios senior race and justice reporter, Russell Contreras.
Thanks, everybody. Just real quick, we have 2 amazing speakers left, 2 folks we're going to talk to. After that, I promise you, we're going to have cocktails for you, so please stay around. We'll talk about Bad Bunny, we'll talk about whatever you want. We got it up there. I've got the honor to bring up our next guest, who has led every level of public service, from Los Angeles to Sacramento to Washington. He's the former U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, and he was the first Latino to have that position. He's also the former Attorney General. Now he's running for governor of California. Join me in welcoming Mr. Secretary Javier Becerra. Yes. Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us here at Visionarios.
Russ, thanks for having me, but I'm not happy you have me after a comedian.
Oh, no. We got a little show here, so don't worry. So before we get started, before we talk about what you're doing now, I want to go back and I want you to set the record straight for us. During your term as health secretary, you inherited a global pandemic. Many people don't know that you were also in charge of dealing with children who are migrants,
Yes.
right? But I got a lot of calls during that time from Latino Democrats to say, look, we got to rally around the secretary because we're hearing things that the administration, people within the administration, specifically a woman named Susan Rice, who was a domestic policy advisor, somehow either saying horrific things about you or getting in the way of your duties. So take us, set the record straight. Were there people in the administration trying to stop you or getting in the way of you doing your job?
Russ, what I'd say is you have an administration, a White House, that always wants to get things done. And they want the secretaries to make sure they're on top of it. And so when you have to deal with thousands of people dying every day of a pandemic, and you've got to get millions of vaccines distributed throughout the country, when you've got health insurance coverage nosediving because people are losing their jobs and their insurance, and when you've got to deal with the migrant children who are unaccompanied by an adult at the border, secured in a place that's not a detention facility with ICE, you got a lot of work to do. So it was get this done. So they were constantly on me because these were crises that we had to deal with. Fortunately, no one's wearing masks here. No one's dying of COVID. I suspect most of us here have health insurance coverage. And most of the kids that we took care of were in good shape. I can't tell you what's going on with them now because it's a very, very different deal with those migrants' kids. But what I can tell you is that when the president asks you to get some stuff done, you better get it done.
So you have no hard feelings about the way they treated you or anything like that?
You got to get stuff done. And the White House isn't in the Department of Health and Human Services. They got to expect that the secretary is going to get 90,000 people in that department to get things done.
My colleague, Alex Thompson, he wrote a book about Joe Biden and his health decline. He had in a chapter that the president confused you with Secretary Mayorkas. Yes, you're both Latino. One's Mexican-American, one's Cuban. Some people would say that's real offensive. But did you see anything like that with the president, and how did he respond as he was getting older?
You know, a lot's been said about that. I was at that cabinet meeting. I was not present physically. I was on Zoom. And I'm not sure how it happened. It may have been that the president confused. You know, it's not the first time Latinos have been confused, right? We all look alike, right? Even the men and the women. I remember where presidents used to eat the husk on a tamal because they didn't know how to do that.
President Gerald Ford, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So I wasn't there physically present, but what I can tell you is that when it came time to getting COVID resolved, when it came time to getting more people insured, he knew my name.
He did. Oh. The person that has replaced you, someone by the name of Robert Kennedy Jr., he has very different ideas than you. He's been telling pregnant women not to take Tylenol because of autism risk. There's no evidence or data. He's alleged that vaccines may cause autism, no evidence or data. What's your reaction to this?
Por favor. It's time for another Latino to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. or anybody.
Knowing that you operated the department, what do you think of the risk there if we keep this type of information going?
Okay, now let's get serious. My wife is a high-risk OBGYN. She treats women who are pregnant, are having difficulty delivering. When you are a woman and pregnant and you get sick and you start to get a fever, if you don't take care of that, if that fever gets too high, you're not just getting sick, you're endangering your fetus, your baby of the future, and you have to control that fever. Tylenol is the principal way over the counter that women who are pregnant do that. When you have someone who's the Secretary of Health and Human Services, all of a sudden says to you, Tylenol may be dangerous, what message is that pregnant woman supposed to take? And so what I can say to you is, this is real, this is reckless, it's dangerous, and it will take lives.
You could right now make millions. You've served time, you've done public service.
Served time, okay, that's a little...
No. I just came back from Homeboy Cafe, so that's my mindset.
I'm trying to follow the comedian. She did a good job. I'm trying to keep pace.
But seriously, you could make millions in going into the private sector. What is drawing you to maintain public service and run for governor of California? You can do whatever you want, but why are you doing this?
I'm blessed. I'm the son of a father who got to the 6th grade. And I suspect many of you have the same story, right? My dad was the oldest of 8, had to start working right away. My mother didn't come to this country till she married my dad when she came from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. And yeah, that's not one word, right? That's Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But in Spanish, it's better.
Right.
And so you learn real quickly when you're son of immigrants, your parents never had a chance to step into a college classroom, you got to work pretty hard. But I will tell you that I am where I am because I had people who always lifted me up. Now it's my turn to lift people up, and that's why I'm running for governor.
Now 2026 can tell us how improved the Democratic brand is, right? This last election, the Democratic brand got really hit hard. I was in the Coachella Valley yesterday, and farm workers told me people are really scared. They're not going to work. Someone may be working and say the husband's not working because they're worried about their status. There's 3 families that have been moving to a 3-bedroom home, right? People are worried about money, kids aren't going to school. You are Mexican-American. You saw what went on in June here in the city of Los Angeles. As governor, what can you do about this current environment? Raids, scare, fear.
You stand up. One of the things that I've said is I'm going to be California's healthcare governor. You know that there's talk that we're going to have to pull back on healthcare because the Trump administration pulled $1 trillion, not $1 million, not $1 billion, $1 trillion out of healthcare in the program that helps people who are working class, lower income. And that's going to hit our population a great deal. He's also now putting the Affordable Care Act coverage for 24 million people in real jeopardy because the subsidies are going to go away and the price for your premiums are going to skyrocket by, in some cases, doubling or tripling. What I'm saying to folks is, especially those working families, immigrant families, is, aquí en California, no. We're not going that way. We're not going backwards. We're going to make sure that we continue to move forward. We are on the precipice in California of having universal health care coverage for all of California's residents. I said all of California's residents. I didn't say all of California's citizens. I said all of California residents. If I'm governor, we're getting there because we're not excluding anybody, including those immigrant families that work hard every day. It would be foolish for us to cut access to health care to them because they're still going to use the health care system. When your child is ailing, you may wait a while because you don't have the money to pay, but at some point, if your child gets so sick, you're going to go to the hospital. And if you can't pay, guess what? You and I will pay, whether through our taxpayer dollars or through our increased premiums because those hospitals will pass those costs on to those of us who have insurance. So why pay later? The 2 greatest Americans I could tell you on healthcare, one you probably remember, he said it about 160 years ago. Frederick Douglass said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." We're repairing a whole bunch of broken men and women instead of building strong children. But perhaps even better was the other great American you'll probably know less, Maria Teresa Becerra, my mom. She said, "Mijo, mejor prevenir que remediar." It is always better to prevent than to remediate. I'm going to prevent that family from not having access to care for their child so I can build a strong child in the future, not wait till they get broken and then try to repair them and spend so much of your taxpayer money to repair broken people. We can do this right. We just don't follow the course they put out there for us in Washington, D.C. Those man-made disasters, we'll take them on.
And lastly, Secretary, Donald Trump got a lot of the Latino vote in this past election, historic number.
Don't ask me about that one.
But one of the things I was talking to some of the farm workers in Coachella Valley, one has said they feel some Democrats are out of touch. And she said, look, I went to a meeting talking about climate change and all kinds of contamination in Coachella Valley. We went around, talked to environmentalists who were white, and they said, yes, we agree. We need to have air conditions in stables for horses because the horses are in danger. This woman says, who cares about the caballos? What about the farm workers? There seems to be a disconnect with some Democrats, and they maybe mean well, but they're not focusing and alienating some people like her, who she may vote for Trump. How do you reach those voters?
Well, first I'd say, how is she liking Trump now? Now that it's not just the promises, but it's actually now the delivery, where you wanted to shake things up, you didn't expect that he would shake you up. And that's what's happening to all these families. But what I will say is this, sometimes leaders do go too far, too fast, and they get ahead of their skis, and they leave all the people who are supposed to follow behind. And it's tough for a family who's struggling just to pay the rent to be expected to change out the gas stove for an electric stove because that's what you should do. We should do that in the future whenever we can, but you can't expect a working class family to follow when they don't have the money to do it. And I think we can really quickly solve that because California is not going to go backwards. Some of you you're not old enough, but in the 60s in LA, you could not let your kids play outside because the air was so thick and dirty from pollution. It was so contaminated. Those days are gone. It's still dirty air, but it's not as dirty as it was. So we can't go backwards. But what I will tell you is this. We're not going to lead without bringing everybody with us. Just as I said, I'm leaving nobody behind when it comes to healthcare. We're going to make sure all those families that work very hard, like my parents, have a chance to do everything that the California dream is all about. So we'll learn from the lesson of getting ahead of our skis. Actually, most Latinos don't ski, so maybe I should see.
No, I've never. No.
But we won't go so fast and so far that we leave behind all the families that we need, the muscle we need to get these things done. But make no mistake, my dad a construction worker, my mom a clerical worker, they built California. They deserve to be part of the winning strategy that includes them in the prosperity. That's what we'll do for this generation of construction workers and clerical workers, or college graduates, or scientists, whatever you are, you got a place in California.
Let me get this in front of everybody, see if I can get this promise of you. If you're elected governor, will you come back to Visionarios?
I'm back off right away. So.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for the conversation and for your time with our community. Thank you so much. Please stay seated. We got one more. Please, Secretary. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage Axios local Texas editor, Astrid Galvan.
Hello. All right, we've just got one more segment for you, and then you can have all the mango margaritas in the world. Our next guest needs no introduction, honestly. He is just a legendary person in our community who we have seen in our TV screens for years and years and years. But please welcome to the stage, Cesar Millán.
Gracias. ¡Arriba los perros! Gracias, yes.
All right.
Grandma loves me, yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
It's good to be loved. Thank you, gracias. Eso. Pórtense bien.
All right. Keep it down.
Si no les voy a...
There you go. It works on people too.
Humans are more difficult. I
know. So I just want to talk a little bit about your history. When you came to the U.S., at first you started out as a dog groomer.
Yes.
You have now built this massive business empire.
Yes.
Clearly you have lots of adoration. What's the moment that most tested you, and what's the moment that you knew you would make it?
Well, I was tested the whole time since I left Sinaloa. because I grew up in a narco state. I was a kid, in the time where the Federation was born. And thanks to the rules, boundaries, limitations of my parents, I stay in one line, right? And so you have to deal with that. Then you have to come to the border and deal with the border, right? It's life and death. It's not a funny thing. Then you come to America with this beautiful dream to become the best doctor in the world. But you don't speak English. You have no papers. Your family doesn't live here. Everything is different, right? Everything is different. The whole traditions are different. Everything is different. So for a kid that comes from Culiacán, Sinaloa, with everything that you guys know is happening right now, I grew up in it. That's normal, when you're a kid, which it shouldn't be. It should be a place where kids grow up safe, peace, love, right? Which is what I teach people with their dogs, right? To have a home where they feel safe, peace, love, relationship based on trust, respect, love. And the activities a dog needs to do is exercise, discipline, affection, body, mind, heart. So I created a formula for Americans so they can live a natural, simple, profound life, which is the life we grew up in Sinaloa, natural, simple, profound. I come from, the low income, so I'm the back of the pack, but with good moral values, good responsibility, good heart, and creative mind.
Was there one moment when you were like, okay, I'm okay? Or have you always had that push that's like, keep going, keep going?
Then you realize the reason to come to Earth, to live, is the whole point of accomplishing whatever you want. And America is that beautiful platform where dreams do come true. I was 13 years old when I told my Mom, you think I can be the best dog trainer in the world? I didn't know I was going to become the dog whisperer. Okay, I didn't know that was just a surprise from God. But I did tell my mom that I wanted to be the best dog trainer in the world after watching Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. So I was 10 years old when I used to watch Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. So I thought that every dog in America was just like Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. So now I tell people, look, dogs in third world country are skinny, but they don't have psychological problems. Dogs in America are chunky, and I get to have a TV show.
I love that.
So listen, it's challenges in life. It's normal. You just have to do what we do best as Latinos, which is faith. We have to do it ourselves. That's the hard work. We have to be passionate about it, and then use our mind to be creative and move obstacles out of the way. That's just life.
Yeah.
So, now I'm 56, and I was 21 when I came to America. I actually wore boots when I jumped the border, so I was running with boots. So I wear my boots today.
Wow.
Yes, it's not easy to do running, the border with this kind of boots.
No, it is not.
I do not recommend it.
So thinking about today, what does it mean for you as a Latino in America now? How does that identity show up in your work and your style and your storytelling and your leadership?
What I love about Latinos is that we always make ourselves to be at service. So when I heard the quote, ask not what the country can do for you, what can you do for the country? I say, I'm going to make sure all the dogs in America are well behaved. So America loves me and trusts me and respects me, So that's just a Latino thing, We make sure we gain our position in any home. We learn, el muerto y el arrimado a los 3 días apesta. The death and the people that come to visit you 3 days later, they smell. And so I learned to make sure, that I'm a contribution no matter what I am.
Yeah.
And I'm a father, so I teach my kids the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sort of on that note, I was telling you earlier when I told my relatives who I was interviewing, everyone from my 60-something-year-old father-in-law was like, oh my God, to my 17-year-old nephew, oh my God, and he asked for your autograph.
Yeah.
She kindly delivered. And so you have this really wide appeal. And most of us grew up seeing you on our TVs,
yes,
going into a lot of non-Latino homes, right?
Most of them.
You have a wide, yeah. How did you navigate that? What was that like a challenge to get to that place, or what was it like?
The challenge was to learn English, because I learned English in the streets, listening to Rick Diggs in the morning. I swear to God, I listened to Rick Dees in the morning, and that was a much better English. So I wanted to, appeal to my customers. Also, Jada Pinkett paid for me to have a teacher for a year. So that was how I navigated. But it was very clear for me that I can definitely make a difference, right? So your spirit knows something when your mind doesn't know how to do it. Your instinct knows how to play the back of the pack, the middle of the pack, the front of the pack, whatever positions you have to be available. Your heart really loves what you're doing. And so I always knew, now I can put it together. Now I can tell you, the reason why I did this and this. And so that's just the fun part of life, to discover yourself. Why are you here? What's the purpose of you being here? Why did I left, Sinaloa? For many, many reasons, right? But I left Sinaloa to become the best in the world, right? And to contribute in the world. The Latinos can make a difference in the world. So I'm making a difference not only in America, but 120 countries watch the show. And it's this Mexican guy, teaching the whole entire world.
Absolutely.
About dogs.
Yes.
But it's not about dogs, okay? Thank you. Listen, I don't teach people about dogs as much as I teach people about themselves, right? Because something very clear to me when I start saying, I don't train dogs, I train people. I rehabilitate dogs. I am the dog whisperer, right? So it was very clear for me, that what I was going to do wasn't going to train dogs. Train dogs is when you do sit down, stay calm, here. What I do is I rehabilitate dogs who are aggressive, who become fearful, who learn to ignore humans' fight-flight avoidance. So I bring the dog back to his natural state of mind, which is calm, surrender, happy-go-lucky, calm, confident, which if we learn, from animals, we can learn this beautiful state of mind of patience, calm, surrender, happy-go-lucky, calm, confident. And hopefully our leaders, listening to this, right? Because it's very important that we feel safe, that we feel peaceful, that we can practice love, that we can trust, respect, and love the people who lead us. Because a dog, in order for them to feel safe, you need to project this certain energy, have this understanding, and then you have to follow through, right? So to be a pet parent is a 365, 7 days a week, every single second. Then you can say you're a committed human being. It's not a once a day, it's not a once a week, it's not a part-time job. It's a full-time honesty, integrity, loyalty. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. Simple as that.
I don't think I'm doing it right.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is one piece of advice that you have for first-time dog owners, or even dog owners such as myself with dogs that can be difficult? Let's do it.
Listen, if you're a single person, understand who you are, what energy do you have? Also, how much do you know about a dog? And then, are you already exercising? Because do not get a dog so you can exercise. Okay? Do not blame the dog, right? And ask the dog to motivate you. You have to be already a motivated human. They already has good habits, right? So that's you by yourself. Now, if you're in a family situation, the most important thing is the word agreement. The whole family have to be in agreement. It's not about the dad say the kids want dogs or the mom say the kids want dogs. That doesn't work that way. The whole family has to do the same thing. And then they have to commit and follow through. Agreement, commitment, follow through. So when a dog comes into a home, he's going to see if you're a functional or dysfunctional. He's going to be the most honest member of your family. He has no clue how to lie. So when I come to people's home, the dog tells me the truth. The human tells me the story. You see it? So it's very important to understand, who you are. Who you are, who's your, self-knowledge, so you can self-value, so you can self-love. It's very important because the dog is going to know right away who you are, how much you value yourself, how much you love yourself. And you're going to be like, and the dog is going to be like that, right? Because the dog is going to project or express or become who you are, your energy, your thoughts, and your actions. He can only become who you are. It's the inside of you. It's going to reflect what's inside of you. just like a mirror, reflect what's outside of you. Make sense? All right, let's be a good human then.
Yeah. Can you briefly tell us about your PAC Leadership Community Initiative?
Well, since everybody, always wants me to help them from all over the world, I think that the best thing I have done so far is to create a community, online community with people from all over the world. Join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. and we talk about, how I see life, how I connect, communicate, have a relationship with dogs. So that's what people want from me, right? It's hey, Caesar, my dog, bites my mom or runs away. He doesn't let my husband come in the bed. I see them. 20 years on TV, I see them all. You name it, the case, I see them all. So, for me, it's about three things. It's about education, definitely entertainment, but also enlightenment. So when I do a show, when I do anything in life, it's about feeding three things, right? Your education, your entertainment, and your enlightenment. Yes.
Well, Cesar, it has been such an honor to
That was
talk
it?
to you. That is it. That's all the time we have.
All right, pues. Gracias. Gracias.
Oh,
Gracias. ¡Arriba los perros!
Before I have you leave, let me just really quick. Thank you to all of our Visionarios here tonight for sharing your stories and your wisdom especially. A big thank you to everyone here in the room and to our audience watching online. Thanks to Noticias Telemundo and Axios Live for another fantastic year of this event. Year 5 is coming back. We'll see you at the reception and have a mango margarita.
Yeah! Gracias!